It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Well done.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Division 2 build video. Now I finally bring you the build you've been waiting for. We finally have a counter to the ever popular Intimidate Adrenaline, which has been very popular up to now, but I think that this just takes it to a whole other level. Don't get me wrong, I still love that Adrenaline Intimidate Rush, you know, synergy, but this just takes it to a whole other level. However, before I get into the build, like always, I just want to give a big thank you to all my recent subscribers, everyone else supporting the channel. Thank you very much. We are on the road to 1K subs, so let's get it done. And with that out of the way, let's get into the build, shall we? Alright guys, so here it is. As you can see, we are utilizing the new exotic chess piece, which you get from the summit, the Ridgeway Pride. Not only that, it did receive a buff with patch TU11.1, and this is why now this chess piece, you're going to see it more and more, and why it is a must on the majority of your loadouts. But this is the build, and this is how you should run it. So let's start from the top first with the specialization. I went with the flamethrower, primarily because it's got a really good medkit bonus, and of course because I use the striker ballistic shield. Aside from that, really you have free range in which specialization of your choice. It's totally up to you. Now you should all be familiar now with what Hunter's Fury does. We are utilizing 4 pieces: the mask, the holster, the knee pads, and the gloves. I just want to quickly refresh your memory on the 4-piece bonus, because this, along with the chest, is what makes this build super strong and so much fun to use, primarily in PvP. So we have the Apex Predator. Enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Killing a debuffed enemy with your weapon disorients other enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, and this can stack up to 5 times. Now the magic number here, guys, is 15 meters. We are always going to be within 15 meters with this build, and this is why it is complete destruction. So let's look at the chess piece a little closer. And by the way, if you're not sure on how to get this, you know, the right steps to get this chess piece, I will be putting out a video very soon. It's very easy now. It's actually a lot easier since the new patch went live. So I'll be sure to post that up very soon. Now, the Ridgeway Pride. Let's look at the talent Bleeding Edge, shall we? What does it say? Shooting enemies within 15 meters applies bleed to the target. So, as long as you are within 15 meters or less to your target, you're going to bleed them. There is no cooldown. You are bleeding them constantly. Now the second part to this talent says, repair 3 to 48% of your armor per second for every enemy that is bleeding within 15 meters. Now, this is very situational, but if you paid attention to the opening clip, you saw how insane my armor repair was. Let me just show you quickly one more time. Okay, there you have it. Now, how does that work? Well, let's look at the last part of the talent. It says repair strength per number of bleeding enemies. So if you make one enemy bleed, your armor repairs by 3%, 2 by 6, 3 by 12, 4x24, and 5. If you can get 5 enemies bleeding, your armor will repair by 48%. Now in that opening clip, I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% sure if it was 5, but for sure I know I had 4 enemies there bleeding at one given time. Again, it's situational, but when you are able to proc this, it is super fun, and you notice how it keeps you alive. So this is why this chest piece is the must for most builds right now, especially for status effects builds. So definitely, if you haven't gotten this chest piece from the summit, I recommend you grind for it and you get it. Now, last but certainly not least is the backpack. We are using once again the Eclipse protocol. You don't need 4 pieces. All you need is the backpack to be able to make use of the talent Symptom Aggravator. Amplifies all damage you deal to status affected targets by 30%. Now just think for a second. The minute you put your opponent on bleed, you're amplifying your damage by 30%. Correct? We haven't even discussed my weapon. But let's look at quickly at Hunter's Fury once again. When you are within 15 meters, enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. So here's another 20% weapon damage to go along with System Aggravator from the bleed that is causing by way of your Ridgeway's Pride chest. So let's get into my primary weapon. I'm using a tactical vector for its high RPM. It also helps you shred through your enemy's armor. Now, the talent that you are going to want to run will be Sadist, of course. This is a bleed build, so to speak. So, Sadist gives you an additional 20% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. You're constantly bleeding your enemy because of the chest piece. So you're constantly dealing an additional 20% weapon damage from utilizing this talent. It's insane, guys. You got to give it a try for yourself. As for my secondary weapon, I am using the SIG MPX again with the same talent status. Usually I swap to this when I run out of ammo on my vector. And for the pistol, my favorite, the Orbit. It's got the best pistol talent in the game, perfect finisher, and this talent actually applies to your primary weapons. Keep that in mind. As for my skills, well, you can see already I do use the shield for those crunch moments, and of course the riot foam to immobilize your opponent, especially if it's a tanky player that you're gonna have a little bit of trouble breaking through their armor. You can also go with the Stinger Hive. Whatever skill you like. I would prefer a skill that either immobilizes them like the Riot Foam, or it procs a status effect like the Stinger Hive. But again, the choice is totally up to you guys. If we look quickly at my stats, we're at 54 critical hit chance, 103.4 critical hit damage, and then you amplify that with all the damage that you're getting from the bonuses and the weapon talents. Headshot damage is at 50%. We have a little bit of armor damage there from our vector. All weapon damage bonus 54.8, and our submachine gun damage bonus is 42.4. Now, this build is not even fully maxed. My watch is not even fully maxed. There's my armor on kill there. If you notice in one of the clips, the armor on kill actually kept me alive. The health on kill, I should say, actually kept me alive in a very clutch situation. So, the best combination, in my opinion, right now, guys. So give it a shot. I'd love to hear your comments or suggestions in the comment section below. And like always, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.